I'm Sister Catherine Martinez from St. Joseph Monastery in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I will be speaking about hospitality in the monastic world. St. Benedict in his rule gives us a chapter in which he talks about the reception of guests, and also throughout the rule mentions various ways in which we are of service or hospitable to one another. There are three basic ways in which we understand hospitality. We see hospitality to others, hospitality to God, and hospitality to ourselves. Hospitality to others is probably the one that we are the most familiar with. That is receiving the guest, receiving the stranger, receiving the person that comes to our door, wherever our door might be. In our technological world, sometimes we say that our door is also the door of our social media, our web page, or our Facebook page, or Instagram or Twitter. And we never know how God is going to appear in these people. Because every time that someone comes to our door, we are actually told that we are receiving Christ. And we're receiving Christ in that person. So in a sense, the Christ in us welcomes the Christ in the other. That can be sometimes challenging because maybe I am in the midst of working on a project or really into whatever I'm working on, and I've got a deadline, or I think there's something really important I need to be doing. And I might receive a phone call or someone at the door. And it sometimes might seem like an inconvenience, but I need to remind myself that that is Christ appearing to me at that time, at that moment. The second way that we receive guests is receiving God as our guest. Receiving God at prayer. Receiving God when God speaks in the midst of our day, when we get a random inspiration, or what seems like a random inspiration, but is really God's voice calling us in a different direction or helping us to respond to the current situation of the time. This is a skill that we need to learn. I know when I first came to community, it was very difficult for me to recognize some of the subtle ways in which God might be speaking and inviting me to do something, or to go in a different direction, or to choose a path that I might not normally be open to. And it's a very fine skill to be able to discern or to recognize where God's voice is in our ordinary lives. So every day God is talking to us. God is coming to us as guest. The third aspect of hospitality is hospitality to ourselves. This one can be challenging because I know for myself, I can always be much more hospitable to the person that comes to the door, or the person that presents a need, or the person that calls on the phone, than I can be sometimes to myself. Sometimes I'm much more likely to put myself or my needs to the side rather than do the self-care that I might be invited to, or to address whatever I area of growth I need to look at right now. It's much easier for me to look outside and think of the other person, think of what the needs either locally or globally might be that I can take an action to, rather than do the interior work, which is involved in that hospitality to myself. But through the gift that we have of our vow of stability, we are given the time, the space, the permanence to be able to work on all three of those aspects of our hospitality, and acknowledge that we're never going to get it totally right, and that's okay, because we can try again, and every day we can continue trying it over and over again, progressing hopefully toward doing better. But and we're probably never going to get it absolutely right, and that's okay. We've got a lifetime to be here and to help each other to continue on our journey of growth.